Hello, magnificent human beings. My name is Landon with Yoga New Mexico, where we focus on empowerment, alignment, and strength. You are in the right place, capable and strong. Well, it is Wednesday, time for our short educational piece, and that is Janushirshasana. We are going to do seated forehead to knee. Now, there's lots of really cool approaches to be able to do this trick. You might need a block depending on how flexible you are or not, but we are going to dive right in. So go ahead and roll out your mat, and I will roll the intro screen. Thank you so much for being here. Well, it is time to look at seated forehead to knee Janushirshasana. Now, I think there's two major approaches in doing this pose, and it really kind of depends on how you feel about, this posture in your day-to-day, in your practice, in your life. So let's take a look at one of two different ways. The first way is a more traditional approach that I think we have all heard about. So your heel up here in at your thigh and shoulders square with the front, but not so much square with the front as in lining up your sternum, your midline with your foot. So don't have it out here folding down, rather in the center and folding on down. So we have a tendency to round our back as we come down, and we truly want to keep that flat back. So inhale, lengthen, exhale, come on down. Now, if you notice, if I'm taking a very strict approach to this, my back, nice and straight, nice and straight, nice and straight, and about here, it starts to round. So that is my journey, right? That is where I'm going to make my strides, is still keeping my flat back, but hinging on down. And we can grab for, our foot for wherever we like, but kind of the main approach here is to really seek to keep that flat back. You do want to keep your chin up because that will help you keep your flat back. But here's the issue with keeping your chin up. So we say eye gaze forward, your drishti forward. And this is all fine and good because it does encourage you to keep that flat back as you come down, right? But I think we hear the cues, and once more we think, eye gaze up, eye gaze up, eye gaze up. So what are we doing as we come down is that we are inadvertently putting strain on our neck that doesn't really need to be there. So I think you should have the discipline enough to keep a straight spine, to be able to keep a straight spine without looking down or slouching. So there's a difference between this, and this. So I'm just encouraging you to have that discipline in your practice to be able to still keep a straight spine through your neck, but not have to, crunch up. Because there's a really cool thing that happens in this posture as you're coming down is that you keep this eye gaze up, but you need to bring your elbows out as well. And you want to lengthen through your spine all the way up through your neck. So oftentimes in my classes, I will grab somebody's skull and just tell them to relax. I'm kind of holding their head in my hands, and then I will pull their head very gently towards me because there is a subtle lengthening that needs to happen in your neck to really get kind of the full feeling, I think, in this posture. So not too far forward, skull at neutral, inhale, lengthen, relax. So there's this interesting thing that happens when you lengthen your neck, but you soften your shoulders. So keep your shoulders down and back, not down here, but back as in bringing them back here. So wherever you grab is kind of secondary almost. Even if you can grab out here, still keep soft shoulders and lengthen your neck. So think about bringing your shoulders away from your ears and at the same time lengthening your skull. So that gives you kind of the maximum sort of length in your spine, because I think we tend to ignore our neck, how our neck feels a lot in this posture. So that's kind of the first approach, right? Is a very traditional flat back coming on down, elbows out gently. And the next approach is a more yin, more relaxing approach. And this is good because, it's kind of depending on how you feel that day, right? Maybe you were just barely able to walk into the studio and you really need just a very gentle and soft practice. So, if that's the case, then allow your back to round. Hands grab wherever you like. Relax your chin. Don't bring your chin into your chest. Just kind of relax everything. And then start your journey way down here at your hips and your low back. So inhales, lengthen that low back. Exhales, allow you to hinge forward just a little bit more. I think we get these mental images in our brain of, oh, this is what the pose looks like. So we hunch super forward and we're rounding, when it doesn't need to be that serious. You can have your hands on your quad, just above your knee here, and shoulders can be rolled back. You can let your spine round, and you can just start your journey from here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. And that's perfectly fine as well. I think yoga is often about finding kind of the happy medium. It's oftentimes a choose your own adventure approach. Very strict, traditional, I'm going to do this to a T, textbook, as best as I know it. Or I'm just going to let my body relax in this pose. And I think it's important to listen to that in your practice. Last thing I'll say is about the block. If your leg is not all the way down on the ground, placing a block underneath this knee, that will actually help you to relax your hips a little bit more. So that is our seated forehead to knee. So I encourage you, next time you're in your class and in your practice, is pretend that, your shoulders are melting down away from your ears, but at the same time, your neck is lengthening. And there's no need to keep your neck and your eye gaze super, super far up, because then we're inadvertently putting strain on our neck. Just keep it at a relatively neutral position, and then that way you can actually start to really grow your neck, lengthen through those vertebrae. So thank you so much for being here. You are all amazing, magnificent, wonderful, beautiful, tubular, radical human beings. And from my heart to all of yours, namaste.